Next interview question is how to pass variable number of positional arguments to Python functions. So first we will understand the question. So here I have given how to pass variable number of. Variable number means any number of arguments. Variable number means any number of arguments. Variable number means any number of arguments of positional arguments. Any number of arguments. So variable number, any number of arguments or of positional arguments to Python function. So what is meant by positional arguments? So positional arguments means here position of argument matter. Position of argument matters means while passing means the whenever you have passed those arguments, the position of those arguments matter, right? So these are the so this is the question, how to pass variable number of positional arguments to Python functions. So we know that how to define Python function. So def keyword we have to take, function name I will take here, print name. So this is the function name, and for now this function is not taking any argument. So I will give here, this is a function, right? And we know that once we define function, we need to call that function, print name. So now I will run this program. So now this is a function. Now this function is not taking any argument, right? So now here I will take one argument, that is name, and here, so now this function is taking one argument name. So while calling this function I should pass here one name argument. So I am passing here Ram, right? So now, and we will print this name using f string. Name is here name. So now again I will call this function. Now name is Ram, right? So now this function is taking argument name. So for example, this function is taking one more argument, that is age, right? So age it is taking, but when I am calling this function, I have passed only one argument, that is name. So now here position of arguments matter. So Ram, so whatever Ram argument I am sending here, so that will go in name parameter, and whatever the age I will send here, for example 22 I am sending, so it will go in age. For example, now we will print that here age, right? So for example, now this function is taking two positional arguments, name and age, right? So now name will go in, so Ram will go in name, and this 22 will go in age. So now here name is Ram and age is 22. But if I don't pass this second argument, so for example this function is taking two parameters, name and age, but while calling this function I have passed only one argument, that is Ram. So what happens, we will check. So now here we are getting error, type error, print name missing one positional argument age. Means this function is taking two positional arguments. So while calling this function I should pass these two arguments. So if I don't pass, it will give me error. So that is the issue. So these are called positional arguments because position matters. So Ram will go in name, and whatever age I am passing, it will go in age, right? So that's why these are the positional arguments. Now what we want to do, we want to pass variable number of positional arguments. So now to modify this function to accept variable number of positional arguments, so instead of taking here individual parameter name, we will take here star and one variable name, so args we will take. So you can take any name here, but it is convention to use args, right? So now what will be in, so this args will come. So for now I will comment out this code, so we will uncomment that. So now this function, so for example I am passing here ram and 22. So now I have passed here two arguments. Now this function is taking two arguments, but here what I have given here star args means it is telling that this function is taking variable number of positional arguments. So now we will print this what comes in this args. So if I run this program, so now here this is function and ram and 22 has gone in this args. So what is this args? So this args is a tuple, means whenever you are passing variable number of positional arguments, so these positional arguments are combined in one container, that is tuple, and passed to this function. So now we know that using indexing we can access tuple elements. So now here I will access this name and age using that. So args 0, so that will contain name, and args 1, now it will contain age. So now in this way I got here name is Ram, age is 22. So in this way you can pass variable number of positional arguments to Python function. So I will take here one more example. So I will remove this code. So for example one function is there, and that function is doing addition of numbers. So add fun, and this function is taking variable number of positional arguments, means any number of any number means any number of arguments or any number of numbers you can pass to this function. So now we know that this args is a tuple, so we know that we can iterate over this tuple. So for I in args, and what we will do, we want to do addition of all the numbers, so we will take here one variable a is equal to 0, and we will do addition of this numbers. I, right? So finally I will get addition of all numbers. So I will print here addition, final result is a. Now this function is taking any number of arguments. So now for example I am calling this function for two arguments or one argument I will. So I have passed here 11, that is one argument I have passed. Then add fun, so I am passing here 3 arguments. Add fun, I am passing here 4 arguments. And if I don't pass any argument, so add fun. So now this function, so here I am calling this function with 0 arguments. So if I run this, what output we will get, we will check. So now here for this add fun 11, so I am getting addition as 11. For this I am getting 6. So for this call, so I am getting 33, and for this call I am getting 0. Means using this syntax you can pass any number of positional arguments to Python function, and these any number of arguments are combined in one container, that is in tuple, and passed to this function. So as you are doing tuple processing, in the same way you can process those elements, right? So in this way you can pass variable number of positional arguments to Python functions.